Good morning to all the guests and delegates with great joy and immense exultation. I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to all present here for the inaugural of the Entrepreneurship Empowerment Cell of the Oxford College of Business Management. The Oxford College of Business Management, under the aegis of Children's Education Society, is one of the leading institutions founded by late Sri S. Narsaraju Garu, and the unprecedented legacy is being continued by our chairman, Sri S. N. V. L.
Network it was totally cut and getting only to reason.
Good morning, everyone. I think we can control everything, but not the technical glitch. So I'm so sorry for the discontinuation. In our midst today, it's gratifying to have our revered guest, Sri SNVL Narasimha Raju, Chairman, the Oxford Group of Institutions, Dr. Nikita Alur, Principal, the Oxford College of Business Management, Mrs. Ujjwala M. Raju, Management Representative, our campus, and the speaker of the day, Ms. Deepthi Mahesh, founder of Kids Adda. I also welcome the facilitators of the EE cell, Dr. Arpana, Professor Meera, Professor Anuradha, Dr. Ravi Kumar, and Dr. Shweta Bhasin, who took the initiative to conduct this session. It is indeed a privilege and pleasure to welcome you and the audience here. Entrepreneurship Empowerment Cell is a student cell dedicated to promoting the spirit of entrepreneurship among students of the Oxford College of Business Management. Our quality students have a plethora of novel ideas for technical as well as non-technical startups, and we plan to nurture and foster them. With this thought in mind and shed more light on the cell and its highlights, I would like to request Dr. Nikita Alur, Principal, the Oxford College of Business Management, to give the welcome address. Dr. Nikita does not need any introduction. Our campus vibrates and echoes her prominence. With a doctoral degree in management from Bharatiya University, she was heading the department at Dayanand Sagar Business Academy and was associated with DSI for more than 12 years. She has also worked with New Tech Information Systems, Stanford, as a compliance officer. She is also experienced in recruitment process and analyzing advertising media. I welcome you, ma'am, and hand over the session to you.
Thank you, Avinash. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
A very good morning to everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome our distinguished guest, faculty members and students of the Oxford College of Business Management for this Entrepreneurship Empowerment Cell inaugural function. I also welcome Mrs. Ujjwala Raju, our management representative, HSR Layout Campus. I take this opportunity to welcome Ms. Deepti Mahesh, who is the founder of Kids Adda, Play Center at Bangalore, and also a teen mentor for the Expression Society. Thank you, Deepti, for accepting our invitation to add light into the inaugural function. So, some of the students might be thinking, why this entrepreneurship cell? Why entrepreneurship is so important for students? Today, many visionary students aspire to run their own business, mainly because they seek autonomy, financial security, and vocational flexibility. Indeed, some of these young adults will inherit a family business, hoping to fortify and extend the legacy. By contrast, there might be some other students like others will launch a startup to meet an emerging need in the community. Those students will benefit from entrepreneurship courses that show them how to innovate, come up with creative ideas, lead, collaborate, and continue or take it forward. How about for others? On the other hand, many students have no intention of pursuing a career in business. Instead, they gravitate to public service, they join some other sector, FMCG, banking, financial services, or insurance, healthcare, education, or the arts. Interestingly, these students also need to develop skills that prepare them to innovate, lead, collaborate, and continue. So that is why entrepreneurship is so important for all students. So entrepreneurship helps our students in developing innovative thinking, critical thinking, innovate. See, if you see in today's scenario, innovate or perish is the current slogan. Since entrepreneurship courses can apply to anyone from any walk of life, we should consider the benefits of entrepreneurial studies, beginning with innovative thinking. The startups are not just bringing innovations, but are also evolving as major job creators. If you see the current scenario, the year 2022 has brought new opportunities and avenues for startups. If you are aware, January 16th is celebrated as National Startup Day to help percolate startup culture to the grassroots level. Now the question is it difficult to be a entrepreneur? If you ask that question, if you have that doubt in your mind, as per even the experience of the startup successful entrepreneurs, 10% of your effort is what required to get the feel of entrepreneurship. One thing you need to understand that you don't have to come from an entrepreneurship background or a business background to start up a venture. All it takes is the dedication, idea, and the intent to do it. And most important is that you should be open to take risk, because it is not easy to start a venture or a company. You need to have courage. You need to be bold. You need to take risk to start. Unless you are ready to take the risk, you would not see the benefits. So what do you think? I just want to ask one simple question to all the students here. What do you think? What is the biggest risk in life? Can anybody answer? You can just unmute yourself and give the answer. What is the biggest risk in life? If you ask me, the biggest risk in life is to not to take any risk at all. Unless you are ready to take the risk, you would not see the benefit at all. Look at all the startups who are now moved out of the startup. If you look at companies like Swiggy, Zomato, Flipkart, Byju's, Uber, Ola Cabs, they all started 5-10 years back as a startup, and today they are famous and moved out of the startup concept, and now they are all a standalone companies by their own. That is all because they had a good idea, good concept, they took the risk, they were ready to face challenges, and today they are where they are right now. That is how we have to look at it. You know, people say that entrepreneurship is not my cup of tea. Starting a venture is not my cup of tea. Without trying it out, you can't say that. Once you have to try and see to know whether it is your cup of tea or not. By just looking at other people, you can't assume and say, that is not my cup of tea. I don't have the capabilities. I can't do it. It is too much for me to handle. Without jumping into it, you don't know what it is. Without trying or making an attempt, you can't come to any conclusions. So we assume that we have not come from that background. No, I don't come from a business background. My father is not a businessman. My grandfather was not into it. Neither any of our siblings. How can I be able to run a venture out of this business? No, that is what 10 to 15 years back we were thinking like that. But now the scenario is not the same. It's different. Now everything is advanced. Now you have got more opportunities. We have got a platform for you to experience and try. You have got our own cell now that we have going to inaugurate the entrepreneurship empowerment cell. We'll give you a platform to experience and try. And a lot of investors are coming forward to help and support. You have many angel investors who are coming forward to help. Now we have government to fund you. Opportunities are available. There are n number of opportunities. It is the interest and intent is what required from your end. If you've been following the news or the media, a couple of days back, our Prime Minister has announced one particular day in Jan, that is 16th as the startup day. And also he has announced that they have allocated funds for startup. There's a project that's going to Project India. And Government of India has invested crores of funds aside for entrepreneurship. So in order to receive that fund, your venture should be a very good venture with unique ideas that are not available in the market currently to be able to get those funds. So whichever venture is having a good idea, which can be turned into a venture, the government will come forward and fund you. You can apply for the fund and the government will definitely support the startups. So apart from government fund, we have various other organizations who can also fund you, like Tata Group of Companies, Reliance Group of Companies. They also fund startup companies. But in order to come into that category, we have to make our venture a good venture. If we are serious about our ideas and venture, only then it is possible. And how we are able to do that is by actively, enthusiastically participating or registering yourself in the entrepreneurship empowerment cell that we are inaugurating now. So I congratulate even the coordinators who have taken this initiative to start the entrepreneurship ecosystem in our institution. Professor Anuradha, Professor Meera, and Dr. Ravi, Dr. Arpana, Dr. Shweta Basin. They all have taken initiative. They are on board to support our students. Please speak to them if you have any queries. So the main objective of starting this entrepreneurship cell is to provide a platform to our students to get that inspiration to come up with an innovative idea so that you can incubate. So I can say 3I is the mantra of our club, Entrepreneurship Empowerment Club. Inspire, incubate, and innovate. So already some of the initiators, our coordinators have taken. Firstly, we have signed an MOU with the Vadvani Foundation's National Entrepreneurship Network, and we'll be conducting 15-week mentorship program for the students to start their entrepreneurship journey from first week of February. Entrepreneurship awareness session in collaboration with the MSMEs. So these are some of the initiatives coordinators have taken, and Why we are inaugurating this? Some of you might be asking questions. What is the benefit to the college? What are the advantages for the students? Are we just doing it for the sake of doing, or for the accreditation, or to get good grades? No, we are not charging anything from the students. It's free of cost. We do not charge any fees from you. We are just giving the students a platform to experience, to fail, learn from your failure, as well as to succeed. So as per the research conducted, if you see the statistics says by the year 2030, there will be job constraints around the world, around the globe. You know, companies will not be able to recruit. So that is why we are trying to help startups to come. When we have more startups, there will be more job creations. So tomorrow you start the company and you will employ 10 people on an average. Then it will go to 20 to 30 or 200. So that is what we see. That is what is our benefit to the institution. So that will be our profit. So the more jobs you create is what is our profit, because that's how we see it. So we don't see profit in terms of money. We see profit in terms of how many people you are able to employ. Because if country is not able to give you jobs, then what are you going to do? Where are you trying to go? After finishing your degree, what are you going to do? You can't always depend upon your country to give you jobs, right? You can't depend on companies to give you jobs. So there will be a time when they will be stagnated. They will not be able to move further. Then what do? How do you sort that problem? The only way the problem can be solved is by creating entrepreneurs worldwide. In turn, those entrepreneurs will start giving more jobs. So that's what is our way of building an ecosystem. That's how we would like to help our students. If you see, our Prime Minister has called for innovating for India and from India to tackle the challenges the country is facing. If you see, India has over 60,000 startups with 42 unicorns. If you ask me what is a unicorn, is a startup company that has reached to a valuation of $1 billion. So our startups are changing the rules of the game. I believe that startups are going to be the backbone of New India. So let us innovate for India, innovate from India. So I'm sure this entrepreneurship empowerment cell will be beneficial for all of you. Thank you one and all. Take care and stay safe.
Thank you, ma'am. Wonderful words and enlightening us about the future plans of expanding the entrepreneurship cell of the Oxford College of Business Management. Innovate or perish. You have well explained to the students how to establish themselves as entrepreneurs irrespective of their backgrounds. And the phase of inspire, incubate, and innovate shall be the motto of growth for us now. Thank you, ma'am, for your encouraging words. I am profusely elated to take an opportunity to introduce our speaker of the day, Ms. Deepthi Mahesh, founder, Kids Adda, the biggest indoor play center in Bangalore. Ms. Deepthi completed technology in Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, Australia, and have worked in multiple organizations there. Ms. Deepthi Kids Adda, one of the biggest and one of the first indoor play center in Bangalore in the year 2014, and the second in the year 2017, and it is now established as a reputed brand in India for providing a great entertaining place for children, hosting birthday parties, organizing various activities and workshops for children, celebrating events, and more. She has many certifications to her credit and have been associated with a company called Lodesta to provide mentoring sessions to the high school students and with Startup Squares to mentor startups. Ms. Deepti Mahesh has worked towards women empowerment and also have been associated with many CSR activities. It is notable that she has been recognized by many prestigious organizations for her exemplary contribution and achievements. Ms. Deepti have been bestowed with the Brand Achievers Award 2015, National Achievers Award for Leading Place for Kids in Karnataka 2017, nominated among the top entrepreneurs in Bangalore by Times for the She Unlimited Awards, and she has many more awards to her credit. We are honored to have you amongst us, ma'am. I welcome you and hand over the session to you.
Good morning, everybody. I am so glad to be a part of your journey so far. I would especially at the inaugural function of your the Oxford College of Business Management Entrepreneurship Empowerment Cell. Just before that, can you hear me? My screen seems to have frozen.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay, great. Thank you. So it is really an honor for me to be a part of this new journey that the institution is embarking on. I'd really like to thank Nikita ma'am for giving me this opportunity, and the faculty, the founder, Shri SNLVL Narasimha Raju, for giving me this opportunity. Before we move on to talking about entrepreneurship and my journey, I would like to start sharing a screen because ideally I would like to have, stood in front of everybody and talk, but the days are such that we have to make do with technology. So I'm just going to start sharing my screen. Ms. Avinash, please let me know if you can see it.
Surely, ma'am.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Now we.
All right. All right. So before jumping into entrepreneurship, Ms. Avinash did give a small introduction about me. I would like to reinforce saying that I was not an entrepreneur. I didn't start my journey as an entrepreneur. I worked as an IT employee at various organizations in Melbourne, Australia, before moving to India. Becoming an entrepreneur was never something that I thought I would do. It was not even in the radar for me. I always wanted to be an IT professional. I wanted to take my career higher in the corporate world. But things change, and it was a great journey, and I would never regret or go back in time and change anything that I've started. And various organizations. I have also done 10K Women Entrepreneurship Program. Sorry, just give me 1 second, please. Sorry. I have also been IMB, which I completed, and I also did the 10K Women. Can you all hear me or see me, because I'm having some technical glitch? Hello? Can you hear me or see me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Okay, sorry about that. So before I start, I would like to know a little bit about, I would like some interaction. Um, how many of you all would like to become an entrepreneur and why? Can I get one or two answers, please? Anyone? Yes, I see a hand raised. Please speak up. Just unmute yourself and speak up. Am I waiting for an answer? Okay. All right. A lot of people would like to become an entrepreneur because maybe it's their background they came from, or maybe they see something that an opportunity there. But what is an entrepreneur? Who is an entrepreneur? As per the Webster's dictionary, it is very simple. It's a simple sentence. The one who organizes, manages, and assumes risk of business. Is it that simple? Is the organization of a business that's organizing a business that simple? Is managing a business that simple? Are the risks that you need to face going to be that easy on you? No. That simple sentence that Webster's dictionary explains has a lot of depth and a lot of meaning to it. So as we go forward, I'm also going to talk about my journey as how I've set up Kidzada, why did I do it, and how it has helped me. How do you think the once upon a time startups have become unicorns today? Did they start big? Did they even think that they were going to become that big? They did something very simple. They identified a problem and they created a solution for it. Very simple. They identified a gap in the industry, in the market, and they worked around that gap. They built a solution. So what did I do? When I moved from Melbourne back in 2012 to Bangalore, I had two little kids. I have two little, they're not little anymore, but they were 5 and 3 years old. So in Melbourne, in Australia, things were a lot more different, especially in terms of parks. I would take my children every day in the evening to a local park. They would enjoy the slides, the facilities. The parks were so safe that even if they fell, they never got hurt. So after moving back, I wanted to continue that journey where, I wanted my children to play physically, not just with gadgets. I started taking them to local parks just to play. I did it for about a couple of months. I was so unhappy with the way things were. The slides were broken. There were street dogs running around. There was chewing gum stuck on the swings. I was very disappointed. And this experience of mine, day in and day out, actually helped me identify a gap in the society, especially in the business society. So I said, why not I create something for parents where they can come and enjoy? Their parents can come and relax, children can enjoy, and the digital gadget world was taking over so much that children started, because the parents didn't want to go to these parks, they started giving gadgets to the children, so they were stuck to YouTubes and other online gaming apps. But physically playing was very important for me, and I met so many parents that who said it is really sad that we can't take our children anywhere to play. This was 8 years ago. There was not a single indoor play area for children at that time. So I said, okay, let me do a bit more research and figure out whether it is going to help, whether I'm able to fill that gap, at the same time make some money out of it. So I identified a problem. So the first step is always problem identification, or the gap in the society. Then you dig deeper, you start digging deeper. What do your customers want? Who is your customer base? What is their age group? How many of them are there? Is it what you identified as what they want? So you have identified a gap that is according to you. but have you actually checked that this is what even the customers want? Most of the time, when I've been mentoring startups, I realized that they are so passionate about the idea that they have that they tend to forget doing the market research. They tend to gather data. They tend to not gather data. They just think the idea is fantastic. Idea may be fantastic, but how many people are actually going to um, make use of that idea and pay you money for it? That is something. 40% of startups have been failing just because they have not done enough research before investing, as per the statistics. So identifying the problem alone is not enough. You need to also spend a lot of time doing the research in terms of ensuring and validating your identification of the problem. So you identify the problem, and then you identify your customers. What is the age group? What is if you're planning to build a product and you're planning to charge a certain amount, how many people are willing to pay that amount? Market comparison, something similar like that product, how much are they paying currently? How much more value is your product going to add to your business? Increase your knowledge. Read. If there is some case studies, there's so many startups, there's so much information available online now. As opposed to 8 years ago when I started my business, I couldn't find a lot of information online. I had to venture out. And because there were no play centers, I just didn't say, okay, let me just open a play center and it will run well. It took me a year and a half of research. I went to pretty much every organization, maybe a cafe, a library, anything that encourages children into their business. Be it a toy store, be it a library, books library, be it a toy library, be it a cafe for children, anything to do with children's entertainment. I ventured to all their places a couple of times just to see the kind of market, just to get a pulse of the kind of audience that I could expect, to get an idea of the amount I could charge, to get an idea of what they are missing. So you really need to make your presence everywhere to actually gather the data. Data gathering and research takes a lot of time and effort. It is not as simple as going and opening Wikipedia and reading about it. Talk to a lot of people. In my case, I had to talk to a lot of parents. So luckily my children were very young. I would go to their school, talk to every parent that comes there, talk to them about what they're missing in terms of entertainment and education, not just education scholastically, but also what is it that they would want, extracurricular activities for children, and observe, not just understand what they talk, read between the lines sometimes, and observe keenly and gather as much data as possible. Once you have gathered all this data, once you have validated your problem, so my validation of Kidzada was I joined a lot of mothers clubs. So there was an organization called Mom Space, Mompreneurs, there's so many at that time. They were all Facebook groups. Now Insta is popular. At that time, they were Facebook groups. So I joined at least about 30 to 40 Facebook mothers groups, just to read about what are the problems the parents are facing today with children. And then I had all the data with me. Okay. After I had the data, I validated my data by talking to a lot of parents, by networking, by communicating. And then I knew that there was really a gap in the industry from where I can benefit. My competitors were not direct. I didn't have any indoor play areas. So my competitors were probably Pizza Huts, Domino's, toy libraries and book libraries. They didn't have any play facilities. They did provide some entertainment for children, but they didn't have any play activities. Children, when they wanted to celebrate birthday parties, one thing that I gathered, which was not at all part of my idea initially, for me, it was all about let my children, I want to create a space where children can come and play in a safe, hygienic, clean environment. I would like to have chairs and tables for the parents to sit down and enjoy without worrying about the children playing. So that was my problem statement that I had identified. But after gathering the data, something that I realized is that these parents are finding it difficult to celebrate their children's birthdays. They would generally go to a hotel, book a hall, and decorate the place, cut the cake, and that's it. But the day is for the child. What is the child enjoying in a party hall? It is more the parents who are enjoying. So this is after gathering the data, I actually identified another issue which I thought I could incorporate with the business that I had in mind. Data is really powerful. Knowledge is powerful. Learning would never stop. In the last 8 years of running my business, I had to continue to innovate and change things just because I keep seeing the changing market requirements. So coming back to Kidzada, I identified that there was no party hall. So now I have a play area, which I was sure that is going to give me some money. But then all the children go to school on weekdays. So my business is going to be very good only on weekends or vacation. That is something that I knew. So how do I change? How do I add more value to my business so that it does very well on the weekdays as well? And then because I identified this problem of the party hall, I said, okay, let me add a party hall also. So they can book parties on weekdays, small, big, whatever. And on weekends, children can play, adults will have a party hall, and we come up with various packages. Then, okay, what if a party doesn't get booked? How do I make use of the resource, the real estate that I'm going to invest in on weekdays without when the children are off to school? Said, okay, let me introduce activities and workshops, because that is something that all the parents have spoken to me about. They are not great storytelling sessions for children, art and craft sessions. So these sessions, they didn't have a place to conduct it. So I said, okay, fine. Weekday evenings, we will conduct all activities and workshops. Resource utilization. How much of resources are you investing in? How much of them are you utilizing? Are you making the most out of the money you have invested? Very simple. So I did my problem identification. I identified the audience. I increased my knowledge. I validated my problem. And I established a plan in my head. Okay. So what is the next step? Of course, money. Where am I going to get the money? So there are lots of opportunities today, believe me. And if you do enough research, you will find a lot of opportunities. Like Nikita ma'am said, the government is doing a lot in terms of financials to encourage startups. There is a lot you can avail. In my case, of course, then I came up with a big Excel spreadsheets. I love Excel spreadsheets. So I came up with lots of spreadsheets, feasibility analysis, financial planning, and then I had to convince my investor. Luckily, all in the family, but I had to convince my investor, because getting an equipment from overseas, establishing it in a market that is not tested, requires a lot of, guts. What if I lose the money? It's as much as, it's an angel investor. It is not a tried and tested model. So I'm going to be testing it for the first time. So I had to be really accurate with the kind of, numbers that I'm going to be using. What are my various revenue streams? How much can I charge? What are my expenses? And how much am I going to make at the end of the day? Yeah. So make your financial plan. Okay. Then this is very important. A lot of people advertise and market about the product. In today's market, it is not the product that will sell. It is the problem that will sell. So you have identified a problem. Now you need to sell that problem. Yeah, social media has become so powerful nowadays. You know, keep posting on your Instagram business page about the problem that you have identified, because it will reinforce in people's minds, yes, this is a problem that even I'm facing. So what is the solution? And then the solution follows. So sell the problem, not the product. Once you sell the problem, half your, convincing is done. So explore various opportunities. Explore where can you do free publicities. How can you talk about the problem or the solution through word of mouth. Yes, and beat your own drum. A lot of people nowadays are too scared about being judged. What if I talk about this? What will people think about me? No, beat your own drum. You need to be confident about your own business, your product, your problem. You need to be so confident that the people who don't believe actually start believing what you say. So beat your own drum. There is a lot of channels on social media and free publicity available. Start, the more you talk about it, the more people will talk about it. So believe in yourself, have the confidence in your business, and start, spreading the word yourself. Of course, there is a lot of other things as well that go on with entrepreneurship and establishing your business. The key things is problem identification, the gap, validating your problem, the money, and the next is what all do you need? Your real estate, your resources, what kind of staff do you need? How many do you need? Property. If you really want to set up in a property, I needed a big property. As much as in the last 8 years, a lot of play centers have kind of replicated what we have done, we are still financially better off in the market for the USP that we have created. The USP that I've created is that the play center that we have, I have taken it a lot higher. So the slides that we have come from 20 feet high as opposed to 8 feet high in a lot of other indoor play centers, which have taken just one floor. So our USP is that it is an integrated play gym that gives the adrenaline rush to the kids. At the end of the day, it's the parents that are paying. But who is the one who's pushing the parents? It's the children. So if I give the best experience to the children, they will obviously push their parents to come bring them to our establishment again and again. And that is why we were not able to scale up as much as possible, because getting such a real estate has always been a problem. But I'm happy because I really don't want to invest too much, and it requires a lot of a very big property size. So the property size of Kidzada is almost 10,000 square feet. Now to pay a rent for 10,000 square feet, I really had to make sure that the numbers match up. Yeah. So there is a lot of background calculation that you will have to do. Taxation, your accounts, get an accountant on board. If it means get a legal person on board, do your trademarks, copyrights, etc. Everything. So all this is once you have established what you really want to do. One thing I would like to talk about is the intellectual property. So a lot of people don't actually consider intellectual property very seriously. Now take Swiggy or Zomato, for example. Their power is not just, their strength is not just, taking orders online and getting it sent. Their strength is the data that they have gathered. Today, if I order something on Swiggy, when the order goes to the restaurant person, the restaurant owner doesn't even get the name, the contact number of the customer. The name and contact number is something that is hidden from Swiggy, from the restaurants. Why is that? Say, for example, I run a restaurant, which my husband does. If I get the name and contact number of a customer and assume that I have ordered, this customer has ordered 4-5 times from me. So I know that this customer has been ordering quite a lot from us. Let me give them 10% discount. So I will call the customer and say, hey, why don't you order directly from me? I will give you 10% discount. Yeah. So what happens then? Then Swiggy loses the customer. They have been very smart. intellectual property is that strength that will take you places. Just because of the data that they have gathered so far, today they're able to open their own cloud kitchens. They open their own cloud kitchens and they send the food directly. They have the data, the property is theirs. So be very cautious about your intellectual property. Identify what is the intellectual property in your business, and make sure you do the right thing by it. If you have any questions, please do put up in the chat window, or I can take it at the end as well. All right. Okay, so there is a lot of models available online for planning your business. I'm just going to quickly talk about the business model canvas, which helped me. There is a lot of documentation that I did. I did a business case. I was an IT professional, but I was also a business analyst for 12 years. So being a business analyst, I had access to a lot of templates that I'd worked on. Requirement specification is something that I still do for anything that I want to do. So I developed a huge document of requirements that I see from my customer side and put it all together. Business model canvas, pickpock model, there are so many available. I'm sure you've done it in your in the courses that you're doing as well. You will come across a lot of models as well. So business model canvas is a very simple high level model that actually helped me to start with. Can you all see this? So I think the font is small. So basically the
We can see this.
okay. Yeah, 1 second. So basically the right side.
The slides are not changing. It's only the first slide. It's apparent.
Is it? Can you
Yeah.
see the business model canvas planning slide?
No.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
can. I
can
guess
see,
maybe
ma'am.
there was a network error at some of
Okay.
for some of us. Maybe
Okay.
we are in the 11th slide. For
Yes,
the
I'm on the
planning.
left. Yes, correct.
Yes.
So the right side talks about the external, your customer segment, the customer segments, your channels, your revenue streams, everything that comes from outside. The left side talks about your internal, your key partners, key resources, cost structure and everything. And they all come in the middle and it talks about value proposition. What is your value proposition? Value proposition is what is the value you're giving your customer? Are the problem that you're trying to solve, are the customers able to see that? That is your value proposition. What do you promise to your customers? Are you delivering what you promised to your customers? What are the products and services that your customers can avail? So all that is value proposition. So pretty much I can share this model with you all later, but if you actually go online and type, business model canvas, you will get this. This is really good to just put the bullet points together to start with. This is the Kids Are Us business model canvas that I had come up with. Who are my key partners? Who are the customer segments? What are my revenue streams? What are the different channels? Customer relations, key activities. So it's really nice. You can download the business model canvas and put bullet points together and then start digging deeper. Yeah, but one thing at a time. So remember, everybody who has started small. Do you know the the Flipkart Bansal story? There are some very inspiring and motivating stories, case studies online, which I would encourage all of you to read in your free time. The Flipkart, the Bansals, pretty much when they started, apparently they came up with it was again a bookstore like Amazon. They started with books. They listed the books. One of their blogs on their website talks about this first order that they got by Mr. Chandra. He identified a book and he said, I want this book. I can't find it anywhere else. He placed the order for the book. And both the founders were very happy to get their first order. They ventured 50 different stores around Bangalore and across Delhi. They called all the stores just to source that one book themselves. And because they were not able to get it, they sent a personal email to the customer and said, hey, sorry, we are taking a little bit of time. Can you just wait for another week? This person, this customer went back and said, okay, no problem, I can wait for a week. Finally, they found this particular book at Sapna Book House in Indranagar. And they saw that the condition of the book was not great. They sent back another email to the customer and said, hey, the condition is not great. The papers are intact. Are you still okay to take it? He said, yes, no problem. And then they went, bought the book and shipped it across. That was their first sale. And you know what is happening there? They wanted to make it work. They were so passionate about it. They were so driven. They didn't say, hey, I'm not able to find the book. Let's see if we can get a different customer. They really didn't want to let go of their first order. Yeah, so they really wanted, they gave it their best. And can you see the empathy, the the email exchange between the Bansals and the first customer saying, you know what, the condition is not great. They didn't just buy the book and send it to them and say, hey, we got the first order and here is the money that we received. So the passion and your customer service actually brings your customers back again and again. Yeah, so use your different techniques that you find online and see what works best for you. One thing I would like to also talk about here is a lot of people want to do a lot of things. Yeah, the new slogan with multitasking is not just, put your feet in everything. Remember this, start finishing before starting. So start finishing what you've already started, then you jump to the next one. Otherwise, you will have multiple, parallel lanes running and you are too confused on what you want to do. So start finishing before starting again. Yeah. So let's talk quickly about MVP. What is MVP? So this is a new concept that has been developed by, of late by the startup industry and has become very popular. Before, people would go long time ago, when our parents or anybody did the business, they started investing, they identified, they invested, and they ran their business. But a lot of people have realized that once they invest, they're probably not getting what they want or what they expected. So build a minimum viable product. So select a small set of audience. Build the most, the simple product as in your mind and sell it to them. After you sell it to them and say, hey, I developed this product, I want some feedback from you about, whether you like it, you think you will use it, will you be able to pay so much for it? Gather the data again, get the feedback. Okay, and then slowly keep developing in increments. Don't go and put all your money to start with in a big product. Start small and keep developing that, keep taking it higher and higher. Again, with Kids Adda, when I started the birthday parties, I established a very small cafe. So my cafe said, I'm going to cater to birthday parties, but I'm going to offer only, that small menu which all the kids like, pizzas, burgers, and French fries and juices. That's it. That's pretty much it. A very small, concise menu, maybe noodles, just a very small menu. So after I opened, I remember the first day of opening, one customer walked in and said, hey, the place is great. The party hall is great. My son's birthday is coming up in 2 days. I want to throw a party. I said, yay, fantastic. We got the first order on day one. I was very excited. And you remember, my exposure was only to the Melbourne market. So for me, it was all about children's birthday parties, small food, children's, food focused on children. So he came back and said, we are going to be 150 people. There's going to be 40 kids, but I want to also cater to the parents. So I want biryani, I want naan, I want roti, sabzi, whatever. It was like a huge menu. My cafe was not equipped for it. So I didn't go and tell the customer, no, we can't do it. I really wanted to do it, because if I get 150 custom people on the third day of launching my business into my property, the word of mouth is going to be fantastic for me. These 150, out of these 150 people, even if 50% of them talk about my business with their friends and attract more children, that is going to be a great advertising platform for myself. So I really didn't want to let it go. I said, no problem. I will work with it. I will give you whatever you want. Within 2 days, I, spoke to my partner, my husband, and I said, this is what it is. And then we said, okay, fine, we will get the food cooked somewhere else. We will transport the food and we will finish it off. And then, of course, a lot of logistics have been, we planned a lot of logistics in 48 hours. And the party was great. And that is something we didn't even anticipate. It didn't even fit in my financial plan. I never thought I was going to conduct birthday parties for an audience of 100 plus people. Never. So this, what happened? The 80-20 rule kicked in place. 20% of my resources started generating 80% of my revenue. And you never know how things will work. But then never say no to a customer. That is something that I've learned. I generally say no to my customer, and that is probably the reason we're still running successfully, because we never say no to a customer. We've had parties where we supplied Jane food. We've had parties where we did that leave service. Oh yes, leave service for a birthday party. We did it. We never said no to a customer and said, sorry, we can't do it. We made everything possible. So that is what keeps us at par and makes us very different from a lot of indoor play areas. Okay, but then we built in slow increments. The party hall that we had was not ready to accommodate 100 people. Luckily, there was another floor available. We spoke to the owner and we said, can we use this floor just for one day? He said, okay. And it builds, it evolves, but you need to let it evolve. You need to let it build by itself. Okay, so build a minimum viable product. Another great example of minimum viable products is Dropbox. Have you read their case study? That is fantastic too. Dropbox, what they did is they just created a feedback form, a customer feedback form, and said, if I give you some storage place on the cloud, will you use it? Very simple. A lot, and they just sent that feedback form to everybody in their network. They gathered the data, they gathered the customer data, and then they built on it. They started very simple with a simple feedback form just to get a pulse of the customers. Yeah, and this is a very funny meme about an MVP. So this is the Mona Lisa, as you can see. You can see the second one is the product goal. It has to look like a Mona Lisa. The MVP is just the skeleton. The market needs talks about a very nice refined portrait. What you understand is, it's quite blur. Yeah. What you release may not be fully there. And what you think you released is the fifth image. What you actually released is very shabby. What the sales sold, this is really true in the business market. That is what the sales do. They just, glorify things and they show it to you. And yeah, this is a very funny meme. I always look up to it to bring a smile on my face. And every time we want to launch something new, I have to keep this in mind. What does my customer want and what did I really launch? Yeah. Okay. So now we spoke about business ideation and everything. I really think, soft skills play a very, very big role in your entrepreneurial journey. So if I were to ask you to make a list of what do you think makes a good entrepreneur in terms of soft skills, can you at least put it on the chat window? Let me see how many people can identify a few things. You can even talk or you can put it on the chat window. What do you think makes a good entrepreneur? What kind of skills do you see? Okay, nobody?
Students, please do ask questions.
Decision making, fantastic. Yes, decision making plays a very big role. When do you decide? Risk taking, absolutely. You need to be able to take the risk, accept whatever the consequences of the risk are. Communication, fantastic. You need to be able to talk to people. You need communication has a lot of different things involved, and we will get to that later. Creative thinking, yes. Once you start a business, you launch a product and then you say, hey, I'm done. No, you need to continue to innovate. The market is changing and evolving like drastically in fraction of seconds. So you need to be very creative in thinking and bringing something new, unique ideas. Yes, absolutely, unique ideas. Commitment, yeah, that is true. Fantastic. Because without commitment, you can't do much. Negotiation skills, that is a very, very important skill. Time management, absolutely. Good motivator and passionate. Yes. Great. So we have some fantastic skills here. So one is, first of all, believe in yourself. What happens is your own circle of friends or family tend to, put some seeds of doubt in your head about the idea that you have. You need to start believing in yourself. Not just believing that you can do it, but gather the data, do a proper research. Okay. Be realistic. You have a lot of self-confidence. Self-confidence plays such a key role. Once you believe in yourself, the confidence comes automatically. Yeah, once you have done your research and you think that your data is talking to you and saying, yes, this will work, the confidence will come automatically. Be realistic. Again, start small and take one step at a time. You cannot become a unicorn within 1 year unless you are really exceptional. Be realistic with small goals. Work hard and smart. A lot of people just continue to work hard. Think about working smart. How can you utilize the resources that you have in the right way, which will help you in your business? You definitely have to be motivated and driven. Yes, problem solving skills, definitely. Motivated and driven. Without motivation and constant motivation, after some time, what happens is you need to start motivating yourself as well. Eager to learn from others. Thank you. Yes. All this is part of your research that you do. When you start talking to others, you need to be eager. You need to listen. Active listening is one of the very important skills. A lot of people just tend to talk nowadays. They don't listen. Active listening is so important because there is so much that you learn by just talking to others and listening to what others have said. Ability to foresee, manage, and deal with risk. This has been, COVID has been such a hit for a lot of businesses. Nobody was able to foresee that this kind of risk would ever come up in their business. But what did they do? Did everybody, were everybody able to deal with the risk of COVID? A lot of businesses had to shut down. A lot of businesses couldn't stay afloat. So what do? You need to plan accordingly. How can I stay afloat? How can I sustain? Sometimes there will be risks like COVID where all you need to do is, as long as I don't need to put in more money and get over this hurdle, I'm great. So try and sustain in, unforeseeable circumstances like COVID. You need to be goal oriented. So one thing I helps me really is planning my goals for every day. By the time I sleep tonight, what is it that I should have achieved? There is multiple things that I'm doing now. Kidzada is one thing. I'm doing mentoring for a lot of teenagers and startups. So I need to have one-on-one chats with a couple of people. I schedule those meetings. Of course, my children, their studies. So I pretty much make a list every morning of what I need to achieve by the end of today. So I'm splitting my goals into smaller bits. And again, one step at a time. By the end of the day, when you look at your list, you should be like happy to, say that, yes, I have achieved what I need to achieve today. So tomorrow is the next step. Be optimistic. Sometimes things may not work as you want. You need to be optimistic and make sure that, you make it work somehow. Flexible. Flexibility is another thing that COVID has taught a lot of people. Adjust to changing market scenarios. A lot of institutions have adapted technology, like yourself also. Everything is online now. Your classes are online. Art and craft was something that I never thought people could teach online. You need to, show how the brush works. But a lot of people are doing art and craft online. There are a lot of tools available. So you need to be flexible and adapt to the changing scenarios. Interpersonal skills, of course, so many that you have listed: communication, leadership, empathy, negotiation skills, etc. So leadership forms a very key skill as an entrepreneur. You need to constantly motivate your team. You know, a lot of times you find that once you have employed somebody, you will discover different strengths of theirs. So when you discover different strengths of theirs, you need to encourage them and see how you can help them build that strength. And then what happens is these people will want to work with you a lot more. I have people who have started working at Kidzada from the day I opened. Until date, the only thing they tell me is we like to work here because we get the respect that we don't get anywhere else. A lot of times I tell my team, you know what, you have an idea, do it, no problem. You can talk to me about it. We can discuss it, but please do it and learn from it yourself. As long as that doesn't mean I have to put in a lot of money, because money is key. So be open to ideas, not just from your peers or somebody you think is better than you. A lot of people working from you have fantastic ideas because they are on the ground working with you. So be open to their ideas also. And accountability, take responsibility of everything. So communication, like I said, you need to be able to listen properly, not just talk, speak confidently and convincingly. Social media is such a big thing now. Depending on the kind of product you're about to launch, maybe start making noise about in social media, and that probably requires a bit of writing skills as well, because blogging is a big thing. So if you're not able to write, develop your skills. If not, find somebody if you have the money to invest. Yeah. So problem solving again is very, very important. There's so many techniques online on problem solving. Very broadly brainstorming, get the whole team members together and say, hey, we have encountered this problem. What can we do? Get all their ideas and see what works best. Their flow diagrams, cause and effect diagram, plan, do, check, act. Read about various techniques, gather the knowledge, because according to me, knowledge and learning will never go waste. Knowledge is always knowledge is the one that takes you to the next step. I still remember the first interview. I work for this company called Philip Morris that makes Marlboro cigarettes. So that was my first job in Melbourne as a graduate programmer. And when I went to the interview, one thing they asked is, do you mind working in a smoking environment? As much as I did, I was 21, and I said no, because that was my first job. I can't say no to things like that. Of course, they didn't have a smoking environment, but because that is their business, I said I'm okay to, work in that environment. The second thing they asked is, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? I really had no clue. I was coming as a graduate programmer. So I didn't even know what the future, what kind of positions are available, what does each position entail. I had no clue. So instead of making up a story and saying, hey, I want to be like a project manager like you, I said, give me 1 year's time, just 1 year. Let me understand what each role responsibilities are, because this is my first job. Let me understand what each role entails. Give me 1 year's time, and after that, I'll answer this question. They were so impressed because everybody came up with something or the other. But the fact of the matter is, I didn't know how the industry, the corporate was working. I didn't know what are the different roles. I didn't know what it entails. I didn't know what the responsibilities are. So it doesn't make sense for me to actually come and say, I want to be a project manager or I want to be the CEO of the company in 5 years' time, because I really don't know what the responsibilities are. So I simply said, give me 1 year's time, and then after that, I'll give you an answer. So I landed the job. Throughout the university, I was the only one who landed a job as a graduate programmer. So I was really happy. So be confident in what you're communicating and how you're communicating. Don't be doubtful at all about what you're doing. Yeah. Negotiation skills. Very, very important when you're running a business. You will have various kinds of customers, various kinds of suppliers, various kinds of people you're dealing with. Everybody's attitudes are different. Everybody wants something better for themselves. So first of all, be prepared. Be prepared for listening to whatever the other person has to say. Yeah. And if you can do a little bit of a background on the other person, that would be great, because you can go with some strategy. You can plan a bit of strategy before talking to the other person and say that, this this guy is always looking for discounts, for example. Then you have a strategy in your mind. You develop a strategy saying, okay, I will not quote this price, I may quote that price. Know when to stop talking. That is another important thing. A lot of people tend to they're so driven and passionate about what they're doing, they just talk about their idea. But you need to know when to stop and also start listening. Be respectful. Reduce misunderstandings. Effective communication happens only when there are no misunderstandings. As minimal as possible, and clarify your misunderstandings. Okay. So there is a lot of soft skills that you need to work on, and it'll all come with practice. And I would say the cornerstone, the foundation of the soft skills and any skill is your attitude. Your attitude talks a lot about yourself. Your attitude in the way you deal with the problems, your attitude in the way you deal with the customers, your attitude towards your goal. Attitude to me has always personally been the key cornerstone of whatever I do. So I would like to end with this. As much as this is a nice image that I came across, and we said, once you climb up the mountain, you think you're done with the education, but then your career goals is just another different feat altogether. Yeah. So network of like-minded people coming together, discussing ideas, sharing problems, inviting experienced stalwarts to share their experiences. All this helps a lot, especially as an entrepreneur, because you're wearing all hats at once. You are the finance person yourself, you are the marketing person yourself, you are this, you are pretty much wearing all hats, one after the other, you're juggling. Yeah. Entrepreneur, that's why having this entrepreneur cell is a fantastic idea, which we didn't have when we did our university and college. I really wish we had, but it is a great start, and I think every student should make the most out of this entrepreneurship empowerment cell that is being inaugurated today. Nikita ma'am has great plans. I'm sure all your faculty does as well, and they have lined up some fantastic programs for you. Make sure you attend everything, because again, knowledge will never go waste. It will always help you somewhere and sometime. Yeah? So make use of this opportunity and continue your learning journey in your organization. Okay. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It was great talking to you. It would have been fantastic to meet all of you, but hopefully sometime in the future, I will get a chance to come by and talk to everybody. You can check kidzadda.com. You can check our Facebook, Instagram pages. I'm not very active on Twitter, but yeah, you can check and see the various kinds of programs we do, and it'd be fantastic having a chat with you. So if you have any more questions, please unmute and ask, or you can put in the chat window as well.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would request you and the participants to ask the questions. You can either unmute yourself or put the question in the chat box.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
This is Professor Manali here. Actually, although you have told already that after after finalizing your idea, you went for validation by doing some research, right?
Yes.
So, as you have mentioned that you have met some parents, you have also visited some places in order to gather the data. But would that be enough in order, because you are starting from scratch and just meeting people, and would that be enough, or you have done something much more to gather some good background data for yourself in order to explore the market?
Yes, I did do a lot of data. I did do a lot of other work as well. So I kind of identified the place where I wanted to establish this, and also gathered the data about how many residents live around there, how many children are below 12 years old, because that was my target market segment. So the place where I was going to establish, I also did a gathered data about the residents around the area as well. So apart from not just getting data from the parents and understanding their problems, I had to make sure that the place is also in the right location.
All right. Thank you.
No problem, ma'am. Anybody?
Student, any you can even post it in the chat box.
All right. So I assume that you're all ready. If you have no questions, or if you want to get in touch, you can email me or follow me on LinkedIn as well. I'm happy to actually help whenever I can. So if you want to email me and ask questions, I wouldn't mind that as well. That's my email address, info@kidsada.com. So I'll be happy to help. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Avinash ma'am and Nikita ma'am and everybody, all the faculty, for giving me this opportunity. It has been great.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And I, on behalf of the management, thank you for providing your gracious presence to join us here today and to enhance our knowledge. You have very well mentored our students to qualify in this competitive world. That's the reason, and I hope that they had no queries. They have been so clear about everything that you have, and you have given them ample score of idea that how to start up with the business ideas that they have and how to reach the right mentors in the future. Your experience, your learning curve, your hunger for continuous innovation, it has helped us to understand, and it has helped us also to see and understand how you are growing in your business and how successful you have become. And you sharing the same with us have given us an insight into how and what we need to plan for our business. Thank you so much for us. We are looking forward to have again on our platform, obviously offline. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. I am trying to stop presenting. Could you just? I'm not able.
Yes, ma'am. There will be a small cross at the top, and once you click on it, the screen would be stops sharing
Okay.
near the mic and the video image.
Okay, I am not able to, so I might just have to close the window and come back again.
Okay, Shali, ma'am, you can take your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And after this wonderful insight by our dignitary, I request Professor Anuradha to take over the session forward with the vote of thanks.
It is an honor to be a part of this wonderful event on behalf of the organization and EE. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Ms. Deepti Mahesh, founder of Kids Adda, for taking out time from her busy schedule to be with us today. You have helped us understand the need and importance of entrepreneurship. I hope we shall have many entrepreneurs from our campus henceforth. Thank you, ma'am. This session would not be successful without the encouragement and support provided by Principal Dr. Nikita Allur. Thank you, ma'am, for giving us a support. A special thanks also to the organizer and the EE-Cell facilitators who had put in their hard work from day one. Thank you, team. Last but not the least, the audience of the day. Your enthusiastic participation and interactive queries have made this session lively. Thank you. We hope to plan more such sessions for you all in future. I would request students on the on the video for photo shoot. I request once again to students to on the videos. Is it unvisible? Once again, I request students to on the video. Shall I tell thank you?
I request all the to kindly turn the video on for a moment.
Students have posted a message, Avinash ma'am, that they don't have access to videos and audio.
Thank you, ma'am, for mentioning the same to us. Please kindly give us a moment.
Oh.
A humble request to all the faculties and the students, all the participants, to on the video for a moment. The extras have been given for the same. I also request our speaker, Vipti ma'am. Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. I would just request everyone to mute themselves and just on their video. A humble request for this. Thank you so much, everyone, for your presence here. And I also thank Deepthi ma'am to be with us and having patience and helping us for the session at the end moment for group photo. Thank you. Looking forward to see you again for the next event. Have a great day, everyone.
Ma'am, can I end the session?